Hey everybody, it's your boy, Do It With Dementia, and we're back at it again with my Ultimate Garage series. This is part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, check it out, links in the description. And today we're tackling the third bay where we keep the fun stuff, and installing the amazing lighting sent out by Hyperlight. We're gonna start today's video by cleaning out the bay, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. After working on orders the next day, I came home to Laura already having knocked out most of the first coat on the ceiling. Black ceilings are definitely a 2-coat thing, so if you're planning on doing this, get enough for 2 coats. That's just my opinion. Alright, so obviously my garage walls are not in perfect condition, and I pretty much don't care about that super much, but there are a lot of spots that I'd like to just patch because I think that even after I paint this, it'll probably still look like shit. So I'm just gonna try to like smooth out some of this area that there used to be a shelf here before we moved in. Obviously it just had left indentions on the wall. So there's like these like pock markets all over the wall, along with a few holes where things were drilled. It's a little bit here, a little bit on the other side too, but I'm not super concerned about that. It is a garage. I don't really care about it looking perfectly, but I do want it to not look super like shit. So like I said, I'm just gonna clean up some of these spots. I just found something square to wrap in sandpaper and sanded down the areas on the walls that were extruded. To be transparent with you, I have very little drywall experience. I've never owned a home before, so I've never really hung anything on the walls or even damaged them enough to need to repair them. But it seemed easy enough, and it was. Then I filled the holes with spackle. Once it was dry, I sanded down the high spots of the filler, and the results were pretty surprising. Now it's time to paint the walls and edge the ceiling. Giggity. I've always wanted to do red in my garage, but I was always worried it would be too extreme. But I think having it only in the third bay really balances the blandness of the gray in the main bay. And this red is red. Flirt alert red from Bear to be specific, and I'm very happy with the color. Before we got to laying down the badass Swiss tracks, Laura had a great idea. Put together the new rolling stool I got from ProLift so it'd be easier to move around while laying down the floor. And to be honest, this is something that I put off for like a week because I thought setting it up might be tedious, but yeah. That was the easiest thing in this whole fucking operation. I thought that was gonna be like at least some bolts and screws, but I just pulled it out of the box and put it together. So that we could have done that at any point today, and it taken 0 time to do. And now it's time for my favorite part, installing the Swiss Tracks flooring. If you watched our last episode, you know how easy it was to install these, and how immediately satisfying it is. It completely changes the look of the bay, and it took us less than an hour to install. I'll give you guys some long-term updates on the Swiss Tracks as I continue to use them, but as for now, I'm super in love with them. ProLift also sent me out their 7,000-pound shelf. Currently, all my track stuff is at the shop, so every time I go to the track, I have to drive all the way to the shop just to change my wheels and tires. I specifically wanted this shelf so I could store my track wheels and tools here at the house, so I can change them when I'm at home. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like doing that.
What?
Swapping everything over.
Just gonna leave it out another?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. Now my garage isn't exactly the same size as the squares, so I need to trim a few tiles, as well as cut some other tiles to mate the 2 garage bays together. Now there actually is a tool for this, and Swiss Tracks offered me one, but I kinda just wanted an excuse to use my table saw again, which still terrifies the shit out of me.
right, I got this corner cleaned up a good bit. Some of this stuff needs to go inside. And I've done my best with this bay for right now. I got the bikes in finally, got the go-kart in. Some of this stuff is going to the shop, some of this stuff is getting sold, some of this stuff is getting thrown away, which means that I can finally park the fuck inside. I have been parked outside for like a week, but this is good. This is looking way better than it was before. The flooring, amazing. There is the slight gap. I did this gap on purpose. A little piece of stripping over that, that'll cover that up. And then once we organize this area will be done. Fucking awesome. There is gonna be a workbench. I'm gonna build a workbench over there, which is why some of the stuff, you know, is gonna get moved over, and you get it. But taking a break. And there we go. Vet's parked inside. Oh, by the way, you know, everybody always asks about the little tiny Harley. Here it is. I don't drive it, I don't run it. It's got a small motor, it's miserable to ride. It was more of just like a vanity project. I'm actually thinking about hanging it up on the wall or something like that. Also, I need to clean my wheels. This is gross. White wheels are a bitch.
And finally on today's list is the lighting in the main bay. Hyperlight sent out this really cool 11-foot by 8-foot hexagon lighting kit, and they look really cool, especially in videos and photos, and they're incredibly bright. Setup was also super easy. You just connect them together in kind of whatever pattern you want and plug them in. Also, Mike's tape measure kept going limp because it wasn't a Milwaukee. So if this video gets like 3,000 likes, I'll buy him a Milwaukee tape measure.
Holy shit!
You can flush mount this kit, or you can hang them, and since the ceiling is black, we agreed that hanging them would add a little bit more depth to the ceiling, which is absolutely the truth. We just used black drywall anchors and threaded black hooks to hang the kit. After all the hooks were in place, Mike adjusted the cables, and we were done.
How's the lighting look?
It's pretty great, actually. Night D, like, yes. I spent way too...
What's going on, everybody? So the last thing we have left to do is put some dope lighting in the garage. So I got my buddy Mike here from Georgia LEDs. He runs and owns the company. He's who I trust to do all my lighting. This Hyperlight sent out their sweet 11 by 8 octagon lighting. I'm just gonna let Mike introduce himself and tell him about himself.
I'm Mike, and I'm an alcoholic. I run Georgia LEDs.
I'm an alcoholic.
I run Georgia LEDs. Basically, we do mostly commercial lighting, so warehouses, auto shops, offices, anything with like high ceilings, high output lighting. We source everything directly from the factory and then sell it and install it to the consumers. So we cut out all the unnecessary middlemen, bringing the prices down, and it makes sense to where everybody gets a return on investment, usually about 2.5 years. Huge value. They make the buildings look great, consume so much less energy than traditional lighting systems. So we save people thousands of dollars a year on their electrical costs while making the facilities brighter. Employee production goes up because people aren't sleepy after they come back from lunch because they got plenty of light instead of taking a nap in the dark. Guilty. So yeah, that's what we do at Georgia LEDs, and occasionally we'll do some landscape lighting for residential, and then we'll do some residential work for friends, like
Special case.
garages.
Special case.
Special case. Yeah, that's me. That's Georgia LEDs. This is not Georgia LEDs, but
Where do you service? Like, if let's say that someone watching, like, where can I get, Mike's special service?
So I'll do everything pretty much east of the Mississippi. Facility that has enough lights, I'd say a minimum of at least 25 lights in a warehouse. it's worth it for me to travel all the way up and down in the East Coast. But we're based out of Duluth, Georgia.
Oh, my boy.
It's worth it for me to make the trip out there.
Oh, one more thing. I'm gonna take this from him for 2 seconds. Mike's been fucking with me for a long time. He knows the motovloggers, you know, Chase, you know, like David, that dude in blue. Like, Mike is a part of the community. So, like, that's another reason why I like him, is because, like, he is already a part of the community. Can you get any shorter?
Try to make you feel good, man. You know?
No, I bought that at a Renaissance fair. I spent too much money on it.
Not the sword, the microphone.
Oh, the microphone. Yeah, technically I have 2 of those. But hey, man, thank you so much for installing these. Dude, you fucking kill. I get you have big hands, but give me like a grip, dude. Bare paws.
Do the sword. Don't want to play with your sword?
Yeah. I mean, it's sharp as shit. Yeah. That's why I'm standing all the way over here.
The Highlander pose. Oh, that's not gonna work because you can't see the top of the sword. I'm too tall.
You just hit me with that Riz? Did you just hit me with that Riz, bro? I just got rizzed on.